Gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She comes with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. All right, everybody, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. This is the Night Terrors, everybody. Welcome to the show, and thank you so much for being here, as always. Glad you finally made a live episode. Who was that? Finally Caught Alive by Scott Morian. Good to see you, Scott. Thanks for catching a live one. It's awesome. We're glad to have you here. Glad you made it. So this is kind of an groundbreaking night in a way. This is going to be the final episode of the Night Terrors. So there won't be Thursday and Sunday shows after this. It's gotten very difficult to continue to push the shows forward while taking on 5 shows live a week, 3 of which are 2-hour shows, which take a lot of material. And I'm finding more and more that I'm struggling to keep up and to keep these shows fresh and to keep it interesting. And I don't ever want to put out shows that are less than what I think you guys deserve and less than what I can give you. And it's starting to feel like some of these shows are just feeling more and more laborious. Not because I don't love coming in here and talking with you guys, because I really do. This is a highlight of every one of my days, but I don't want to bring you a show that's less than entertaining. And I'm finding myself struggling more and more to find material that we haven't covered before, because we've done thousands of stories on this show. We've done so many stories, and it's just incredibly difficult in today's landscape to keep finding new material to bring to you guys. And so it doesn't mean there won't be any kind of shows on Thursday or Sundays going forward, but there's just going to be nothing planned as these normal shows, because I just want to devote more time into recreating the portal. And we're going to continue to do the Wednesday, Friday, Saturday 2-hour shows as always, but I just got to be able to focus on how to keep the show relevant and keep it exciting and keep it fun, and I just feel like I haven't been delivering lately on that as well as I should and as well as I could. So I just wanted to let you guys know that from going forward, and I hope you understand, because it's not for lack of continuing to love the Paranormal Portal and continuing to love being here with you guys. It's just because, quite honestly, I'm tired. I'm tired, and I feel like I'm chasing my tail more than I should. And so that's what the announcement means. And we may find another show that will fit into these slots. So it's not that, it's going away for good, or that I'm just, not interested in doing shows all the time. It's just that I have to put energy into going forward. And I'm finding that I just don't have the time to do that. And I feel bad when I turn off the shows and I don't feel like I've given you guys what you deserve. So that's kind of what pushed this decision to the head. It's like, yeah, I just want you to leave this show every time feeling like it was a cool experience, that you were glad to be here. And I know you guys are, because you keep coming back, but but I feel that slipping away from me. I feel like I don't have that energy going into it every day like I used to. But we've scoured the net for years now, finding different things to talk about, and so that's kind of the motivator. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense to you guys. It's because I want this to grow. Things change, Brent. It's all good. Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate that, and I'll take a look at the comments. But I just wanted to put that out there right away in the beginning. I realized it was kind of like here, a little emotional soup there. But I didn't mean to startle anybody with that announcement. But I just, this is something I've loved doing for years, and I want to continue to do it for years in the future. So I have to put more time, being as we're still a small show. I mean, Sheldon is here. He's been helping out on the Pieces channels. If you watch the Paranormal Portal Pieces, those are all things that he's taken on his shoulders to create as he's going to school as well. So, and Don does he does 2 appearances a week, as well as producing the podcasts. And so, which leaves me trying to organize interviews, pulling together material, trying to remain interesting, which sometimes I'm better at than others. But I just feel like I need to give you guys more. And so that's the motivation behind all of this, not for any other reason. So anyway, sorry, I'm still a little froggy. But let's do our last night terrors, and let's terrify the hell out of it tonight. I don't know how do you say that, Sheldon. Speaking of Sheldon, who is here also in the wings, sitting quietly. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Plot twist. Dad is not alone.
I'm not alone.
I am here.
He's here. He's holding up the wings of the SS portal as we drift into the nebula of unknown. How's everything going over there?
Going great. Snowing a little bit tonight, but other than that, we're doing fantastic. Ignore this background. That doesn't represent Minnesota right now.
I was just saying, it looks like verdant green fields behind you. What are you talking about?
That's right. I live in Windows XP. I forgot.
That's right. You are a simulation, Sheldon. Don't forget.
Yeah,
with your
right.
Your kung fu speech delivery, where your mouth is moving different than your voice.
That's right.
That's another thing I got to do moving forward is find the time to figure that stuff out. I got some really good ideas for the portal moving forward, and it's just going to take time. It's going to take time and energy to develop, to keep moving the ball forward. And Sheldon, unfortunately, it'll cut into your screen time a little bit on these live shows, but you're going to be working really hard in the wings on continuing the portal pieces and continuing the portal as well. So
that's right.
Absolutely, folks. So we're not going anywhere. Don't think we're leaving you or anything like that. Keep doing what you're doing whenever you do it. We will support you. Thank you, Titan. I appreciate it, brother.
Thank
and you got to diversify your portfolio, Bobby says. Yeah, absolutely. It's just that, I think the biggest show killer on YouTube is to stagnate. If you stagnate, there's so much variety. There's so much out there to see. And basically this show is competing with, tens of thousands or more other shows that are doing the paranormal. So I just want to keep being the best show I can be for you guys. And hopefully you'll continue to want to support that. But anyway, that's the motivator. I want your money back. No refund, Herman. That's it. It already paid for my butt lift. I'm going to get some of these wrinkles taken care of, Herman. Come on. It's Ancient Ruby says, I tune in from the UK and I enjoy what I hear, yet wish it was earlier for it's gone 3 a.m. here yet. I love the catch up, but would love to join live longer. You have a great show. Don't give up. No, I won't give up. I promise you. This is it. I assure you the Paranormal Portal is not going anywhere. We will continue the 2-hour shows on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday into the foreseeable future. God forbid anything should happen to me, and that may change. But as it stands, yeah, I really do plan on this being what I do going forward for the years of my life. So if you guys are willing to join me on the ride, I'll take you with me. So
this is a career. This ain't just a passion project. This is passion project and career.
Yeah, and this is your legacy going forward, Sheldon.
Oh boy, those are some big shoes to fill.
Well, I don't know about the shoes, but I'm just saying it's we got to keep it rolling for you. Otherwise, you're going to be eating cardboard sandwiches or something.
My favorite.
Hey, you had them growing up, so anyway.
That's right.
Let's get to the creepy paranormal stuff that we've come to love. We're not here to sit and dive into the bad stuff. Let's get into the good stuff. And we're going to the Money Made article we've been burning through for the last several shows. And we're going to burn through it tonight too, because I really do like these stories. These stories have been a lot of fun. And this is an aggregated from Reddit. So these articles, it's moneymade.com, which is not like the premier name in paranormal, but these sites do a good job of aggregating these huge articles full of different takes from people on Reddit, and then they plant ads all over it. But I've managed, through the Brave browser to pull it up without the bucket full of ads, and it works pretty good. So let's take a look at these. These are real life supernatural story or horrors, rather, not stories, but horrors. And we are on number 16 as it stands now on this list. And this is what we're going to burn through for the rest of the night. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have to dig up a trail cam terror. I forgot about that. I was working on music prior to the show. Actually, I'm rewriting the theme song, the theme song for the Paranormal Portal. And I've been working on that up until right before I launched this show. So that'll be coming.
Let me see if I can find one for you.
What? Find what?
A trail cam.
Oh, a trail cam? Yeah, please do. That'd be nice. Let's see what Sheldon digs up. Then if it sucks, it's his fault.
Yeah, it's all riding on me now.
It's all on you, buddy. Dig in. It's time to sit in the big seat. All right, number 16 on our list from moneymade.com. This is called Singing the Blues. It says, when I was in high school, I always used to listen to music on my Discman device before I went to bed each night. What the hell is that? Oh, that must be like a Walkman, but it's a CD player, yeah? Okay. This is probably a dated article. So it says, one night I was listening to Weezer's Blue album. The album was store-bought, not burned, so it was the official legitimate version. I was getting nice and relaxed, listening to Only in Dreams, when all of a sudden the music cut off and it was just loud static. It was obviously very jarring, so I opened my eyes and I sat up. In the corner of my dark room across the way and above the door, there was a white fuzzy orb-like type thing just floating there. I couldn't make out much of a shape, but I definitely could point out the head and two dark holes that would appear to be eyes. That sounds creepy. I looked at the thing for a few seconds, then immediately dived across the room to turn the light on. By the time I looked back, it was gone. I had one of those atomic clocks as an alarm that I'd never bothered to set up, even though I had gotten it 2 years prior. All of a sudden, the previously empty clock was now displaying 8888, not flashing, just the numbers. Well, that probably shouldn't be possible, unless that's just the setup mode. Maybe it's meant to be set up with that. That's like
it's 0000, but it looks like eights.
It's just like when you start up your computer, it tests all the RAM. Maybe this is the way it tests all the lights. So I don't know if that's so creepy, but anyway, it never set again, and I had to throw it away. Eerie night, to say the least. Oh yeah, there's a picture of the CD player, the Discman. Okay, I was right. Okay. Number 17, A Leap of Faith. That just sounds like a shadow person, doesn't it? Thinking back, I mean, it didn't really attack him. It just made his music kind of get staticky and suck. But he was listening to Weezer. Sorry. I like Weezer, for the record. I couldn't resist it. It was just, it's the low hanging fruit, folks. That's what I live for. Let's go to the next one. A Leap of Faith. Did it say who that was, by the way? Oh, Dr. Van Nostrand. Dr. Van Nostrand or Nostrand. Okay. 17, A Leap of Faith. One time, I was over at a friend's house. We were probably about 7 or 8 years old at the time. We were playing Frogger on the PS1. Wow, PS1, Sheldon.
Wow.
Yeah, we're going in the Wayback Machine now.
We're going way back, yeah.
Yep. And as the afternoon goes on, a storm develops. At one point, lightning strikes the house. All the power in the house gets instantly cut off. Yet somehow we're still playing the video game. Wow. It takes us a few minutes. It takes a few minutes for us to really register what is happening, thinking this is awesome. We played for about half an hour before we started getting concerned. Eventually, we pulled the power cord on the PS1 out of the wall socket, and somehow the game was still on. We proceeded to unplug the TV and the controllers as well. Still on. My friend dropped his controller and Frogger moved. That frog hopped across the highway with all the power cords unplugged from any possible source and controllers disconnected from the system. This, of course, reestablished the coolness of the situation for us, enabling our young minds to play a little while longer without fully questioning it. It wasn't too long before the strangeness of the situation overwhelmed us, and we proceeded to leave the bedroom and whatever demon spawn had decided to visit us this afternoon. Several hours later, we returned and the power was restored. Now the game was off, and all was once again as it should be. That was by Analytic Lunatic. That's pretty wild. So I was thinking, well, could it be capacitors? Capacitors can hold a charge for a while, but I don't think it would last longer than a few seconds on capacitor charge, because those things were power hogs. But anyway, I don't know. Very strange. All in the Family is next. I used to hate that show. My dad.
Is that the one with Urkel?
No, that's a different one. That's Family Matters or something like that.
Oh, that's right.
The one I'm talking about was Archie Bunker, the old guy, and he was just a crabby guy, and it was because my dad thought he was great. He loved Archie Bunker. All right. So All in the Family. When I was a kid, a bunch of strange stuff would happen, but my parents would lie about it so as not to alert me. That didn't stop me from telling me what. That didn't stop them from telling me when I got older, though. One particular occurrence was that almost every night there would seem to be someone who went down our hall and would seem to toggle all the doorknobs as if he were locking them, but everyone in the house was asleep. Another strange thing happened was that I heard laughing that didn't belong to anyone in the house. I asked my mom if she had one of her friends from work over, and she just replied, "Yes, but they left just now." And so I left it at that. In hindsight, there's no possible way that anyone could have gotten out of the house in the time it took me to hear the laughter and approach my mom. Lastly, there was one very, very strange event that happened to my sister. She swears it happened, so it was sunny outside, maybe around 10 in the morning, and she thinks to herself, Mom and Dad are going to be late to work. So she goes to wake them, only to find a disgruntled couple saying, "It's the middle of the night, leave us alone." So she goes to the window again, only to find that the day has ended, and it's already nighttime. I heard this time loss ordeal could potentially be attributed to aliens. I think I might have also had have a few more if anyone's interested. There's actually a decent handful of bizarre and paranormal phenomena that has taken place within my family. For another example, my uncle bought a new house a few years ago, and apparently there's an old woman who had trouble letting go. My aunt then randomly found said lady just lounging on the couch one day. She has no idea how the woman got there, and as you may expect, my aunt freaks out and demands she leave her alone because it's our house now. I guess she left. I think I might have more, but I'm seriously lacking the details in the details department, and I wouldn't bother posting without such things. And that's by Ephraim Zine. Okay. Well, it sounds like they've been through a lot. Some people just seem to attract a lot of stuff, though, Sheldon, you know?
Yeah, I know people like that.
Yeah, I hear you. There's just some people that I don't know if it's possible that they are, have a different energetic level and act as a beacon towards these things and draw them in that way or what. But some people just seem to get a lot of this stuff. And
I would think like maybe the paranormal's a lot like, your boat out in the middle of the ocean, and all of a sudden you see this big gleaming light, like the what are they called? The one that ships use when there's
A lighthouse
yes.
or a searchlight or a spotlight or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like that.
Yep.
I mean, you're automatically going to be drawn to it.
Like a moth to the flame, right?
Like a moth to the flame, exactly.
Yep. Well, the next one is called Stairway to Heaven. And so we should probably check that out. Sounds wholesome. In the house hopefully, yeah. In the house I lived in before this current one, about 2 years ago, I was sitting on the living room couch watching some kind of show or another. To the left, there was a staircase that opened up into the kitchen. Adjacent to where I was, and as I was sitting there, I saw out of the corner of my eye that there was someone coming down the stairs. I thought it was likely my mom, as I was living with my parents at the time. I figured she was probably just coming down for a late night snack. Instead of seeing her, however, I saw what I can only describe as a tall, dark mass coming down the stairs. Somehow, I knew its intentions were good, so I wasn't as scared, and nothing else happened that night. The next morning, without any mention of the incident from me, my mom starts in by saying, I saw someone walking down the corridor upstairs. This was right around the same time when the lights would inexplicably turn on and off all over our house. It's like that was by Mia Elise. And here's the thing, they may not be wanting to cause problems or harm, but obviously they want to be noticed. It's like, I'm here, turning on your lights and stuff. And I think it's the recognition that some of these, I don't know, if earthbound spirits, they just need recognition. They need to be acknowledged. And maybe that makes sense, because if you're stuck somewhere and you're watching all these lives go by and all these things happening and no one ever addresses you, that's got to almost drive you insane. So I suppose.
I would think so.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't you think?
I mean, if we think of it in terms of eternity, like there's only so much you could do on this planet in eternity. So at that point, I mean, what else is left? Maybe just to troll some people, get some reactions. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's pretty interesting. The other part that I wonder about, and maybe it's something that has to do with being linked to a biology. Like maybe that's where it happens. But if you took a person and put them in an isolation for an extended period of time, the person would go mad. They would go insane. So does that happen with spirits? And if not, why not? What is different? Is it because these shades are not the full spirit of the person? Maybe it's just one segment of the person that didn't transition, or is there something about our biology that we need to have that connections and we need to have interaction with, to keep our sanity? And I don't know.
The way I always thought about it was, like, let's say there's a lost spirit, someone who hasn't quite transferred over and is still here. And if they're lost enough to where they just can't find their way back, maybe that's how dark spirits happen. They're stuck here for so long, they just get angry and angrier, and it builds up, and then they possibly turn into something else. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, and that's the conundrum of it. So, are all spirits the same thing? I don't think so, though. I think there are things that used to be people in bodies, and I don't mean things in a cheap or any less honorable than them being a person, but perhaps, what am I trying to say? I think there are other things as well. So like people, when they pass, may choose to still be stuck and stick around. And that's for any number of reasons, as everybody knows the cliche answers. They got unfinished business, or, they're just not ready to move on yet, or, perhaps they're, afraid of moving on because they know they weren't the best person and they're fearing a judgment, so to speak. So there's lots of ideas, but I think there's a lot of other things too, I think that there's things out there that were have never been human. They may have an appearance similar to ours in that they're, bipedal as well, much like, the Bigfoot isn't a person, necessarily. Neither is a dog man, but, maybe some of these other things are other things as well, but they just exist to us in a spiritual sense and not in a completely physical sense. I don't know.
I mean, when you think about it like this too, the universe is billions of years old. Billions. So when you think about it, there could be energies, spirits, entities, whatever, that date back, who knows, billions of years, millions of years. I mean,
sure.
There's nothing to say that it couldn't happen.
I've heard that astronomers or physicists or astrophysicists have apparently started to find proof or clues of the universe that was here before our universe is here. Before our Big Bang, was there another that existed prior to that? And it kind of makes your head spin, because let's say this is however many billions of years old, and I can't remember the ballpark figure of when the Big Bang was and stuff, but it's, in the billions of years. So before that, there was allegedly something else in this place. And could that still be, again, we are they seeing remnants as exist in time in the linear fashion that we understand it? Or do those other universes still exist in that same place, but just separated dimensionally or vibrationally, and yet we can still perceive some clue of them, some pieces of them in ours? And I don't know, because is time truly a linear thing? And this is where it gets really hard to follow and hard to process, because if time's not a linear thing, then everything that we are exists right in this, this moment. Like right in this very moment, I am taking my first breath after being born and my last breath and everything in between in this moment. And all of those things are existing simultaneously. And then is it consciousness that shifts and creates the perception of time? As we move through these experiences, maybe we're the only things in motion. Maybe everything else is in this static now, and it gets kind of trippy.
I mean, even the Bible, like even the way it's written, when it says that wasn't like the universe created like within a day or something like that, as far as like how it's written?
A period of 7 days is how it's written. Oh. It's like on the first day, the firmament and the lights, and then the earth and the seas and the skies, and on these successive days. And then,
but yeah, that's the thing I'm gonna build on, is that what if that's just one perception? Like, as far as maybe God's perception is that it happened within a week, but for the way we process things, it would be billions of years, that type of thing.
Sure. I mean, you're still suggesting that time is linear. It's just a perception of that passing is what changes. But
right.
And you could be right. I mean, it could be just that. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. Sheldon has to post the link thingy. Elaine, Sheldon, hey, squeeze me. Can you post the link to that channel, to the channel? Are you talking about the Discord? What is she talking about?
I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about here. What does Elaine ask about? Oh, Discord thingy. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It is Discord.
Of course.
Sheldon can post that for you.
I would be happy to.
He'd be happy to.
That's right.
He would be thrilled to do that.
There you are. The message is in the chat.
Okay, it's been posted. So, yeah, absolutely get involved over there. Hey, we got a call. Let's get to this call.
All right.
And it's been for 4 minutes. Not too bad. I found it pretty quick. All right, and this is area code 973. You're on the air.
Hi, Brent.
Hi.
This is Santino from New Jersey.
Hey, Santino. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
How are you? A long time no... I'm sorry I haven't called in a long time. You got a night off, so I said, let me call Brent. And you were talking about some cool stuff. Sheldon, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I have a story. It happened twice. You were talking about different dimensions or parallel realities.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, I don't know if all of them are so good, because the first time this happened to me, the last time we talked, you said, Santino, if there's anything, I told you about the story about the ghost walking out of the cemetery. And one of your last words to me was, if you remember anything else, and you know what, at that time I didn't. But over the past year, things started coming back to me about, weird stuff that has happened. So here goes. One time I'm from New Jersey, so there was a town called Lodi, which I grew up in, and I'm hanging out with my friend Scott in his mother's garage. His mother was in the house, and I just got this weird feeling. Let me go to, it was a summer night, go take a walk outside. And he, for some reason, he stayed in the garage. I don't know. I just had to get some fresh air, so I'm walking around. And it seemed like it was nighttime, I guess maybe around between 12 and 2 in the morning. And it seemed different. Like, it wasn't the same reality. It wasn't the same place that I had walked into when I walked into his garage, when I entered the garage. About an hour later, I think we were playing cards and drinking a beer. And I walked out. It was not the same place because there was, like, rarely, I don't remember seeing any cars on the road. And this is a town in New Jersey where you're allowed to park your car on the street overnight. So there's cars up and down all these streets, and there was, like, no cars. And I'm looking on the ground, and this is going to sound crazy, but I didn't go inspect it because it was too weird for me. Mm-hmm. But I'm, like, looking at this stuff, as like on the sidewalks in New Jersey. We have sidewalks, and there's, I'm assuming that you guys do too over there. And there's, like, I see a hand, like, and I see I'm like, we said, and I see garbage pail, and I see, like, a leg in a garbage pail, like human stuff, like human arm. I'm like, what is going on here? Where did I walk into? And I'm looking around at the houses, and, like, there's no lights on in any of the houses. I'm like, and I'm walking down the street and getting more freaked out as I'm walking my way. What's going on? I'm starting to get scared. Yeah. And I look back, and I can see, like, the garage that I just came out of, Scott's garage, and I see, like, a dim light in the window. So, like, I'm like, well, the garage is still there. And I just, like, I headed back to that garage, and I just went in, and I said, I didn't even tell him. You're the first person I'm ever telling this.
Wow.
And I didn't even tell him what happened. And I was just like, and when you started talking about that a couple minutes ago, that brought back that memory. And no, one other time, this only happened about 1.5 years ago.
Okay.
I was by my aunt's house in Detroit, the same place where I saw the New Jersey Devil on the roof, my aunt's house. Mm-hmm. I got a weird feeling. I was living upstairs in the room. And I went downstairs, and my aunt was on the couch, and, like, I just got this weird feeling. I'm like, something's wrong. So I go, Auntie, are you okay? And she didn't wake up. I go, oh, no, I hope she's alive, because now she's 77. My uncle had just passed away on the Christmas before. So, and now I only have another cousin who's in his room, and he was sleeping. And I go outside, and it seemed that I entered that same freaky dimension or reality, whatever you want to call it, alternate reality, parallel universe, whatever you want to call it. It was not the same. So I went through the backyard, all the way around the house to the front, and it was like it was silent. I got that feeling, like, I'm like, where is everybody? The street lights were all off. There was, like, no lights in any of the houses again. I'm like, oh no. Oh. And here's the weirdest part. I came back around, all the way around to the back, and as I'm coming back around, I'm like kind of scared now. I'm like in fear because I'm like, oh man, where did I hope what is happening to me? Mm-hmm. And I'm coming back around the house, and I walk right into myself. There's a me standing. I run into myself, looking at me in the backyard right before I come through the door. There's me. I'm face to face with myself, and in a split second, we merged. And I'm looking the way my me was, like, looking, how can I put this? I'm facing, I just instantly snapped back around to the way the me I ran into was looking, the different direction. Like, I just merged and switched back around to that. I merged with that other me. That is crazy, but that's a true story. So that's, like, weird. I know about the parallel universes, alternate realities, different dimensions. Right. I don't know if I believe it. I kind of know it. Yeah. But not all of them, I'm telling you, in my experience, not all of them are friendly or I would say, like, I don't know, kind or loving. Some of them are a little weird and, like, bizarre. Sure. So, I don't know if you could find your way into a more happy, loving one. I don't know why I entered those two bizarre ones,
Right.
But that weird part was when I was facing myself. I was like, what the heck is going on? Well, what am I doing looking at me? And then we just merged, and I was facing the opposite direction inside the other body.
That's crazy. Did you ever get the feeling that you visited the same place twice, or did it feel like two completely different experiences?
I want to say it was kind of the same place, but it was two different towns, and not far from each other. They're about 10 minutes, they're like 2 towns over.
Sure.
But it seemed like I didn't see any body parts at the second by my aunt's house on the sides of the road, but I didn't look. I just got that weird feeling like, oh, where am I? This is crazy. I got it felt like all alone in this other dimension. Like there's very, very few people there. Like it's just like empty, an empty void of, I would say there are people there, but very, very few.
Oh.
It's a weird place, and I don't know how I got transported there or entered it. I don't know I can't explain that, but I just know I was there. And to answer your question, I can't say yes, it was the same place. It felt it's kind of the same, almost that strange, fearful feeling of wow, I just stepped into a place that I didn't really want to be there. I was like, I got to get back to where and the fear was, can I return? Because I hope I didn't just lock myself into this other dimension where I can't get back.
Right.
And I don't know how I entered it, so I'm just saying I'm here now. But two true stories.
That's incredible. Go ahead, Sheldon.
When you said that you saw yourself, did it look like an exact replica of you, or were there little differences?
Yes. It was I was and it was smiling at me, looking at me, and I'm with a smile, and I'm and I'm about maybe 2 feet from myself, because I was actually go back into the house, and here I am walking into myself, smiling at me. I'm going, well, it just freaked me out, and in a split second before I could open my mouth, before I can talk or even have a thought, I'm turned the other way around. Yeah. As the person I just saw, I don't know how can I put this? I don't know how to explain this to you. When I saw myself for that nanosecond, I merged and I was spun around, looking at the other direction as the self that I ran into. I was no longer heading into the house. When I instantly had somehow turned around into that other self, facing the opposite direction, looking towards the pool in the backyard.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm wondering if it sounds. I'm just throwing ideas at this, but I wonder if you weren't astrally projecting, if you weren't kind of somehow pushed out of your frame.
I thought of that, but it would be a waking conscious astral projection.
Yeah.
I thought you only do that when you're sleeping. I don't know. It's possible. That ran through my mind too, Brent.
Sure.
But I thought that's only when you sleep. That would be a fully conscious astral projection. I don't know if you can do it.
Yeah, or if something helped you do it, it wasn't maybe supposed to happen, but maybe you were pushed out for a minute, and because it's very, very odd that your body was up walking, or the other you was up walking. And you just
that's
boom,
crazy. It's true. I'm telling you. I was it freaked me out for a second. Running into yourself freaked me out.
Yeah. Wow, brother. I don't know, but I hope you stay grounded from now on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good, man. I work every day. I'm good. I'm actually cooking right now.
Oh,
so yeah. But yeah. So before I go. Hey man, I still love your show. I listen to it every chance I get. I try to tune in, while I'm working. Sometimes I forget, sure. But like you said, I'm able to do. I have a lot of other stories that have come, from the past that I started remembering. Mm-hmm. So if you ever need an extra person on the podcast to talk about a couple of cool stories, let me know. Send me an email. Yeah. SantinoMaselli@gmail.com. I would love to tell you I got a cryptid one, a time loop one.
Sure.
And there was a couple others, but
sure.
It was great talking to you. And Sheldon, nice to meet you. And hey, God bless the portal, man. Keep up the great work, guys.
All right, Santino.
Nice to meet you too. We have one question from the chat, if that's okay, Santino.
Sure.
Titan asked, was your doppelganger aware of your presence? Like, was there a reaction that you saw, or was it just merge and that was it?
Well, no, I guess it was aware because it was smiling. Well, I was smiling at myself. I'm like, it was like, hey, here I am. Like it didn't talk. It was smiling. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's in a conscious awareness. It was aware. Yeah. And I was aware. Both of us were aware. I guess you could call it a doppelganger, but I don't know what the exact definition of a doppelganger would be. How I don't know what that would be.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, generally you don't merge with your doppelganger if you see it. It's usually a personification of you by another entity is what it's believed to be. But Santino, send me an email if you would, please, because I'm never going to remember to email you. But I would love to talk to you on the podcast. It's just paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. Just send me an email and we'll get it. We'll schedule it and give you an interview, brother.
Okay. Hey, Titan, how are you? All right, guys.
All right,
you have a good night. I'm going to write Paranormal Portal Radio. Gotcha. All right, guys. Keep up the good work.
All right. Take care. Thank you for calling. Santino. Good to talk to you.
Bye-bye. Yep.
Very cool. Yeah, that's pretty bizarre. I don't know. That's a kind of, it's a different take. I mean, I don't think it's a traditional astral projection, but it's weird to confront yourself and then to merge. So a lot of times when people are returning from astral projection, they say, I saw my body, and then pow, I snapped into it. It's like a bungee cord yanking them in, like boom, you're going back in. And the way he explained that reminded me of that. And there's things called walk-ins is a big thing. It's not really a possession in that it's not usually a long-term takeover, but it's believed that things can walk in and kind of push you out. And that's why I was wondering, because his body was up walking, or he saw himself walking around and ran into it. So that to me is very interesting, and it's not a cut and dried thing, whatever the hell it was. It's very unusual.
Oh, Tracy, thank you so much.
And the applause is for all of you. I saw that there was one or more, excuse me, super chat. So I'm sorry I missed that, but thank you all for those of you that are able to do that. That's wonderful. Yeah, that was interesting. We'll have to get Santino on the podcast.
Sam, I appreciate it no matter what.
You appreciate what? I'm sorry.
Oh, Sam said that Sheldon's doppelganger would be the Rev from the band Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh, is that right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
I guess I look like Rev from I'm actually going to look that up. I'm curious now.
I've heard mine would be Brad Pitt, but I'm not sure. That's anyone? No? Nothing? Okay. All right.
Nothing for you.
Nothing for me. Whatever. I'm telling you, it's Brad Pitt. All right.
I guess I'd be a fatter version of him, probably.
A fatter version. All right. Well, there you go.
Hey, I got some. I would say I'm pretty husky, and I'm fine with that.
Husky. I always hated that term growing up. It's like, oh, you're not fat, you're husky. It's like, well, that doesn't sound good. I don't like the sound of that at all. So, what the hell does husky mean? Like, what do I look like? Corn? What the hell is that? What is husky? I don't want to be husky. What the hell is husky?
Well, you are kind of corny.
Oh.
No, that's the wrong one.
I don't know. I got to pull out the trombone once in a while. And you earned the trombone tonight. This is what you guys tuned in for, folks. This is the top quality entertainment that we provide on the portal. You can't script this stuff. It's just stupid like this naturally. All right. That's not a slam on you, Sheldon. I'm being stupid too. So. We're stupid together, but we're related. All right. Let's get back to the list. What are we doing for time? 9? God, it's flown by.
Whoa, we're almost done. What?
I know. Does that seem even possible? It really doesn't. It never does. I never get used to this. All right, let's go to the next story on the list. And this
is almost like we entered a portal.
Yeah, it's almost like that. Number 20, Little House on the Prairie, says, I don't claim to know whether or not the paranormal is real, but I know at least what happened to me.
Here we go.
Here we go. Starts out like a typical skeptic. Yep. It happened in college, conveniently right near Halloween. My friends at the time were quite diverse in our religious beliefs, and it being All Hallows Eve to some, my Wicca friend decided that he wanted to show us all his beliefs. I enjoy the paranormal, and I always have. As a man of science, I enjoy trying to explain the seemingly inexplicable or unexplainable. Mostly I enjoy the psychology of it, watching our brains try to piece together things it wants to believe. The subconscious grasps at fragments of reality, resulting in a psychosomatic hallucination. My friend said he wanted to try to summon something. He said to trust him, and even while trying to remain skeptical, we indulged his request. He lit candles and turned off the lights as we formed a circle around some candles. He sat down and held hands as my friend bowed his head and began humming. He kept humming his Om as we all closed our eyes, and that's when it happened. Suddenly, an image of a cottage appeared in my head. It was surreal and so clear. I could feel myself there. It was in a calm grass field. I was standing just at the forest edge. When I slowly walked up the path to the cottage, it had 2 floors, and it was a natural wooden brown. I looked over and saw that the window near the door was shattered. Then suddenly, my girlfriend at the time screamed. She got up and ran out of the room. Another one of my friends jolted back and yelled, "Oh God, what did I just see?" What he said next made my blood run cold. He then starts frantically talking about how he saw himself as a wolf. He starts talking about the details. He was in a field. He ran towards a house. It was the same house that I saw. Everything matching down to the last detail. It wasn't just some vague description, but everything was the same, from the field to the colors, everything. I asked about the windows because I remembered that one was broken, and he said he saw himself jumping through it. We stared at each other and knew we saw the same thing. We heard my girlfriend scream again, and we ran out of the room to check on her. She's cowering in a corner crying, and she's hysterical and won't stop crying about her children. She doesn't have any children. She's in tears, crying out for them, crying out for her children that we know she doesn't have. We try to calm her down, but we can't. We ask her what happened, and she says, "The dogs got them. They attacked them. Oh God, the blood." We tried to calm her down, but she kept crying until slowly we all became very silent. What she was describing was what we all saw, and we just sat in silence. Wow. The Dacca. D-A-C-C-A. Okay.
Multiple people see something like that. I mean, you can't ignore that anymore.
No, I wouldn't think so. I mean, it's one thing to have a vision, but it's another thing to have that verified by other people having the same vision. So that's really cool. That's really
that's got to be like a powerful energy there. If it affects every single mindset inside of it, that's got to be some powerful energy if it can penetrate that.
Yeah, I guess it must have been a powerful vision, or maybe a very real memory that was stored. So in situations like this, we talk about the residual hauntings, and residual hauntings are these stored events. They're just recorded on the very material of our world. It could be a house, could be a stone, could be a field where a battle replays, or whatever. Like Gettysburg has a bunch of residual events that continue to happen even to this day. Cannons firing in the night. People can hear soldiers marching and yelling and fighting and battling. And I don't think that there's, battlefields full of, spirits there fighting a war long over, but that imprint is there. So by virtue of this person doing this ritual, which, if he was trying to summon, he's calling forth the energy of the area. That's what he may have done is awoken that imprint that may have happened on that spot of some woman losing her children to the dogs, and so it really is pretty fascinating. Again, I can't vouch for the authenticity of this story, or whether or not it's true or real or just the fabrications of a good writer. But at any case, if it is real, just say for instance it is real, and they did do a ritual. Those rituals can awaken energies long dormant, and were they all able to witness the events that happened to this poor woman and her children? I don't know. Wow. And the sad thing is that if this is a true story, then that girl has to carry a memory that was never hers. She has to deal with the psychological ramifications of seeing children mauled by the dogs or whatever.
True. Yeah.
And what a horrible thing to have to carry through your life. So, I do feel...
So doubt she'll forget that.
No, that's the kind of thing you can't unremember that for sure. Very, very sad tale, but very cool though at the same time. I mean, it's a interesting. We'll do one more and then we'll go to the. Did you find a trail cam tear?
Yeah, I sent it to you in Skype.
Okay, I'll get it in just a minute. But for right now, we'll go to number 21. With You in Spirit. Growing up, my great grandmother on my dad's side was my best friend. I spent many of my days curled up in her lap watching The Price is Right and her soap operas while she gently stroked the back of my head and call out answers or yell at characters on their shows. She was one of the coolest women that I've ever known. Excuse me. Tragically, she was diagnosed with cancer when I was about 12 or so years old, and within a month, she was gone. The hardest part about it was that I was living with my mom at the time, and I didn't even know she was sick until my dad called to ask if I'd go with him to her funeral. For so long, I was angry at my dad and his family for not telling me sooner and giving me the chance to say goodbyes. One afternoon, when I was in my early 20s, I was standing in my backyard getting things ready for New Year's Eve concert and party that my boyfriend and his band were throwing. I was talking to a friend, and I don't remember how we got to talking about my great-grandmother and how I was still having a hard time with letting go of the anger and resentment I felt. I was telling her how much I wished I'd have a chance to tell her I loved her one more time. I knew she already knew it, but I still wanted to say it. I was overcome with more sadness than I usually felt when I thought about her and was trying really hard not to break down and cry. Then all of a sudden, I felt a warm, firm hand make one gentle stroke down the back of my head just like she used to do when I was small. My heart stopped and I whipped around to see nothing. However, in that same moment, my sadness was replaced with a sense of peace. I can't explain it, and I don't go looking for an explanation. I don't expect people to believe me when I tell them about it. None of that really matters to me. In this instance, the feelings that rushed through my body in those few seconds and the emotions that came and those that felt like I was being told everything was already known and not to be sad anymore. It felt like closure. It was written by Sexy Kitty.
Not a story I'd expect to be written.
That's not the story I was expecting from Sexy Kitty. I just want to put that out there. I didn't know Sexy Kitty had such depth. But that's a beautiful story all the same. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful story. So, let me check. Let me check this here. You said you sent it in Skype?
I did? Yep.
In Skype? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we got here. Better be good. That's all I got to say.
I think it is. I think it's a pretty good one.
I'm sure it's fine. Let me just get it up. All right, oh, damn it. No. Did it do that? No. Where did it open? Let me just do this.
I also sent you which video it is. Because, I mean, I don't know if it'll open up the exact one, so that's why.
Oh, let me read what you said. Okay. Yeah. All right. This one might be one we've already shared, though.
Shoot. I was worried about that.
Well, that's always a risk, but let me look quick and see if it is.
Please be new.
Well, what I got was a Travel Channel.
Yeah.
That's not what you said. There was a Bigfoot thing.
Yeah.
I don't see any Bigfoot thing on this page, but
yeah, you got to click.
Yeah. No, we haven't showed this one. I see it. Okay.
Okay.
This one looks good. This one is a good one. All right, folks.
Aha.
Thanks to Sheldon Thomas, who found this from the channel travelchannel.com. Whoops. He found it on travelchannel.com, and this is a classic video. It's been come on, go backwards. It's at 2 seconds. I guess we could just leave it there. But this is a video coming out of Russia. I don't know when. It says 2 Russians encounters may be a Sasquatch while driving in Siberia. Now, I'm not real familiar with Siberia, but as I understand it, it's a pretty desolate place. And if you're driving along a road in Siberia, there's probably not a lot of people waiting to jump out in a big furry suit to scare you. Now, is it possible this was staged? Sure, that these guys in the car were in on it and they had it all planned. But according to this one, persists as what people believe is a very legitimate Bigfoot encounter. So let's take a look at it and see what you guys think. I'm gonna leave the volume off because I don't think I can make. Oh yeah, I can make it bigger. But let me just leave the volume off because honestly, we don't speak Russian anyway. So let's check it out. Here is the Bigfoot. Oh, let me do this first. All right, we're all set up for our trail cam tears. Thank you, Sheldon Thomas, for doing this. That helps out a bunch. And let's get to the video of the Russian Bigfoot sighting. And I don't have a date on this, folks, but at any rate, this is coming. It was on Travel Channel, but I don't think they own it. They just had it posted there. So we'll take a look at it without the sound. And there it is, going right through the snow. It doesn't really let me click and, oh, it does, I guess. Never mind. There it is, going across the road. It doesn't look that big, though, does it?
That's the thing I thought, too. But if they're heading uphill, as it kind of looks like they are, either that, if they're heading uphill, it probably is taller, but, I mean, it still doesn't look that big. That's something I was thinking of, too.
Right. Now, there is the possibility that it's not a full-grown, that it's not one of the giant ones that people see, but it's also possible that it was all set up. It's just a big hoax. But if these guys truly don't realize that this guy's there and going to jump out, I really have a hard time thinking that it's somebody in the suit just waiting for somebody to drive on. This is barely a road. You look at it, it's big snow drifts. I mean, it's really not a road, and it's not the kind of weather where you'd perpetuate a hoax, I don't think.
Yeah.
But whatever you guys think.
It's the thing that made me think was that maybe it's a lot bigger than it looks on the video. And the reason why is because they're saying moose. Now, if it's really is as small as it looks, at least in the video, why in the world would they think it's a moose or bear? Those are giant creatures.
Sure. Well,
for them to be comparing that, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. It does look like they're climbing a hill, and we don't know how deep the snow is. This could be 3 feet of snow for all we know. I mean, I don't know about snowfall in Siberia, but there really is no road. It's just a big snowdrift they're driving through. So maybe this is a huge truck. What?
Gigi said, did he say barely a road?
Oh, my God.
Oh, Gigi.
She's getting the trombone, too. There you go, folks. I don't know what it is. I don't know that what they saw was a Bigfoot or not, but it is obviously bipedal. It's humanoid. It's hairy. Looks hairy, or at least very padded, but it looks like fur or hair. I don't know.
It does, yeah. Oh, it's zoomed in. Is that why?
What?
When they go over it a second time.
Yeah. They zoomed in right there. Yep. I'll just let it play through this time.
Maybe it is bigger.
It could be. I don't want to hear the interviews about that because we don't have Travel Channel's permission. I don't think they own the clip, but they might not still want us putting their video on. So we'll go with
Yeah,
that.
that's way up ahead. So yeah, it actually could be legitimately bigger. They're just really zoomed in.
Well, it could be. Yeah, I mean, there's that too. There's a lot of factors. It's hard. This is a very, I would say, inconclusive video, but
Yeah.
it's really nothing there to gauge the size against. Could be bigger than we perceive it. Yeah, good point. I mean, it could be. But ladies and gentlemen, that's tonight's Trail Cam Terrors, the last ever Trail Cam Terrors on the last ever Night Terrors. Maybe.
Perhaps.
Perhaps. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up for us here on the Paranormal Portal Night Terrors. I hope you guys had a good time, had a good journey with us. As always, thank you so much for being a part of the shows. Whether you're kicking back and relaxing and watching, whether you're watching this at another time like you couldn't catch it live. If you called in, obviously Santino, thanks for the call, brother. And do email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. And that goes for any of you out there. If you've got a bunch of stories and wouldn't mind sharing them and being a guest on the podcast, let me know. Just send me an email at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. Speaking of the podcast, there will be a new episode uploaded tonight. And this is an interview that we did with Tom Seawood, who's the Native American gentleman from the Pacific Northwest who's joined us on several of these. He's done, like, this is his third appearance on the podcast, but he's talking about the Bakwas, which is the native little people, the hairy little people that are not the Zunaqua. It's not the big Bigfoot. It's a small version, about 3, maybe 4 feet tall. So check it out. It was a great talk. Tom's always a really entertaining guest, and I love having him on to talk about things because he brings a lot of his First Nations legend and history into the shows, and it's so interesting. So that'll be up in just a little bit as I am able to get that out. So Brent, Sheldon, great. Once again, thanks, guys. And once again, guys, going forward, Sunday night, Thursday night, don't expect live shows. I'm not saying there could never be a live show on a Thursday or Sunday night, but there may be. We'll of course release any information going forward about that on our YouTube or our Facebook site. I almost said YouTube, but on the Facebook site for the Paranormal Portal Radio. Just go facebook.com/Paranormal Portal Radio. You'll find it, and also check the Paranormal Portal fans group. And that's another site. And, of course, the Discord. Sheldon, you already copied the link in there, but we'd love to have you guys join in there. If you ever...
I'll do it again.
Yeah, put the link in there again if you would. Thanks. And just know that that's a great way to get a hold of us as well. If you don't want to email, if you just want to do a quick chat, you can do that. You can try to catch me on Facebook, but sometimes I got 8 or 10 different people trying to chat with me, and it's really hard to keep up. But I do check the Discord several times, normally several times a day. So check that out, and we can certainly address any questions you might have. But going forward, we will still be doing the 2-hour shows on Wednesday. We'll still be doing the 2-hour shows on Friday and Saturday. And so definitely stick around for those. And hope you guys continue to enjoy the journey into the Paranormal Portal. What else was I going to say? I was going to talk about, the pieces. I was going to talk, everybody that's here, if you haven't already, please go over to YouTube. I did secure the URL now. So
nice.
If you go to youtube.com, I'll type it in, youtube.com/Paranormal Portal Pieces. That is the link to our second YouTube site. And those are the videos that Sheldon has been producing from a lot of interviews that we've done. And now he's going to be going through regular episodes and just pulling out highlights of the archives here on the Paranormal Portals channel. So we'd love to have you get subscribed over there. We're trying to make this grow. We're trying to make it all grow. And you guys have been amazing helping us get to where we are. We're nearing, we're closing in about 700 away from 10,000 subscribers here on our main channel, which is awesome.
Close.
We're getting there. We're getting close. But we'd also like the Pieces channel to grow as well. And we'd love your support over there if you don't mind. So, Sheldon, anything in closing?
all I can say is thank you all for being a part of this. I mean, even Night Terrors, it's not like we're retiring or anything. We'll still be around, but as far as Night Terrors, I appreciate everybody who's come in support of us and the show and bringing their stories, your experiences in with us. I mean, this is one of the best communities I've been a part of. It's true.
Absolutely. Well, and thank you all for all the support for all this time on this Night Terrors episodes. It was kind of an experiment. I just wanted to do more shows. I loved doing the shows. When I first started the portal, it was first it was one night a week, and then it was 2 nights a week, and then it started out as a Friday night show, and then it turned into a Friday Saturday night show, and then I decided to add Wednesdays, just because I just felt like it was too long. And then after that, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to do every other day too. And when I first started the Bedtime Stories from Beyond, it was every other night of the week. I did 7 shows a week live. And then I had to cut back after a while. And during that time, 7 shows a week. Then I added 3 podcast episodes a week on top of that. So it was 10 shows a week for like 2 years. And I just had to take the Monday, Tuesdays off just to have some sanity days. But now I think it's important to start aiming towards the future, what the portal will become. And so that's why I was like, I need more time. I need more time to be able to focus on that. So that's why we're going to knock off the Thursday and Sunday night terrors. And those are just going to be aimed at bringing you better shows on the nights where we have them. So I hope that makes sense to you all. Again, I know so many of you have been coming back over and over and over and checking out these shows. I know when I've asked you guys in polls if you want the night terrors to stick around, you guys are like, yeah, absolutely yes. I mean, there's no question that was the preferred answer. It's just, I just have to move the ball forward now because I want you guys to have the best show possible. So remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice, take care of each other, help each other out, find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. We'll be back on Wednesday night for the normal 2-hour show. I hope you guys will be here. So come check it out. We'll be waiting for you. And sweet dreams.